into easy language learning. We're going to look at two main concepts here that will help you make your language learning process easier. Those two are finding a way to learn that you enjoy doing, which once you find this, that process becomes so much simpler, so much easier, more fun. And the second is the skills and resources that you have. This is understanding what is available to you and what you already know, where your level is, where you are in your native language, your foreign language, and being able to direct your own learning or find the resources that you need. Let's first start with finding ways to make language learning more enjoyable for you. This can look like many different things for many different people, depending on how you enjoy learning. So this is trying all the different strategies, all the different methods, and maybe being a little bit scattered in the beginning with the amount of things that you're trying. That's part of this. The other part is committing to some kind of a routine, some kind of a schedule, so that you have a little bit of consistency there as well, but allowing yourself that freedom and flexibility and creativity to try those different methods. Maybe you're taking a course, okay? You might not have as much creativity within that. You have to follow a rigid outline of that course. Maybe you're studying on your own, in which case you have so much freedom, so much to just navigate through. It can be overwhelming. If you're taking a course, you still can, of course, and should apply the self-study methods as well to improve your overall process, because the course alone is not enough. So let's look at that independent study, that DIY approach. These methods, these can look like finding a grammar book to work through. Maybe you enjoy sitting down and working through grammar exercises. Maybe you're like, no, I absolutely hate this, and that's fine too. And so you try a different method, and maybe this method is more conversation based, more speaking based. This can involve finding a conversation partner and having that dialogue, and that's more engaging to you. And so you can decide, like, I would prefer to have more independent based, of practicing through my books, through apps, through videos online. I prefer to have a more in-person based, or at least interpersonal interactions based learning, and that involves having someone to directly communicate with. Those can be some ideas to get started. And then the methods that you try, they're infinite. There's infinite apps, there's all of the books on all the different topics, there's all the videos with the strategies to learn more grammar, learn more vocabulary, learn it faster, learn it better, learn it this way, learn it that way. Try anything that you feel like is interesting to you to get started with, and give it a decent effort. So give it time to actually work for you. Don't feel like you have to stick with that strategy forever if it really doesn't resonate with you, but do give it enough time to work for you. And that's a fine line, that balance between when is it working for me, or when is it not working for me, and when am I just liking it. And that's something that you'll have to learn to discern. But you can try a new strategy and try it for multiple study sessions. Try it for a solid week if you're studying every day, and see how you feel within that. Maybe you feel like, I'm not sure. You try it another week and see how that goes. I would say a couple weeks to a month is a good amount of time to give a strategy time to work for you, because you're honestly not going to see results immediately with really anything that you try. So a few weeks, a month is a good amount of time to implement a strategy and see if it works for you. Now, if you were just like, I absolutely hate this, you know it right away, then try a different strategy, but then do commit to something and try it for a trial period so that you can actually see if it works for you and if you like it. Try this with several strategies, a few at a time, 1, 2, 3 at a time, depending on how much you're studying, and find that process for yourself. And eventually, the more you practice, the more you build that routine, the more your process will begin to take shape for itself. That'll become your own style. The part 2 is looking at your skills and your resources. So your skills are your reading, writing, speaking, and listening abilities. These are your abilities in your native language as well as in your foreign language. This is an important concept to understand, is that your skills are going to transfer from your native language to your foreign language and back again. If you have struggled in your native language, and you might even not realize that you've struggled in your native language, but let's say your reading comprehension or your writing skills, if you struggle with writing essays in school, that means struggling in your native language. Or with reading comprehension, you read things and you don't understand well, that's struggling with your native language, as well as just understanding, spoken instructions, communication with other people, understanding exactly what is being said, interpreting that. And those are all communication skills within your native language. Now, the better those skills are in your native language, the more easily you'll be able to learn them in your foreign language. And this works this way because if you don't have those skills really established in your native language, when you go to learn your foreign language, you now have to learn that new language and learn these skills to proficiency. With the foreign language, you don't have to be perfect at your native language to learn a foreign language, and you can struggle in your native language while you're learning your foreign language. It'll just be a bit more challenging because you do have to both learn the foreign language and learn how to learn language and learn the reading, writing, speaking, listening skills that you may be lacking a bit in your native language. I know this because I was one of those people who struggled with native language and foreign language and everything, and had to improve native language skills and also foreign language skills. So I've really gone in depth into what it takes to do this and understanding both sides of literacy, speech, communication, all of that. Now, the resources component of this is, what do you have available to you? This can look like what I mentioned in part 1 of this video about your books, your videos, your lessons, your tutors or conversation partners, or however you're practicing, or a course. And this can also look like your financial means. Your resources can just be really endless as far as what you can include here. So for some people it might be limited resources and how can I work with what I have? And for others it might be having so many, you collected so many books and so many courses and you just don't even know where to start. So you have to look at your own situation here and decide, where am I, what do I need, and which route do I want to go with this. If you have so many resources, no one just choose one, maybe two to start with, and then the same process as with step 1 is just sorting through it, trying it, giving it time to work for you, committing to it, and also keeping space for that freedom, that flexibility to adjust as you go, to make that process your own by adding in different strategies, by changing the resource entirely if you notice after a while that it's really not working. And those are your resources. Your resources are also dependent on your skills in your native and foreign language as far as what's accessible to you, like what your native language is, what you can absorb information, and how you can learn your foreign language. So for most, probably everyone watching this, that'll be English for whichever language you're learning. And also if you are beginner, intermediate, advanced, any of that. And if you are a person who wants to work on improving your native language, then you may want to spend some dedicated time on that, which can look like mostly reading and writing, where people struggle there. And that also improves your ability to speak and present well and to have, meaningful conversations, be able to interpret. It helps with everything. Like reading and writing, reading, if nothing else, is an amazing place to start within your native language, and something kind of passive that you can do to improve there. You decide, do you want to focus your efforts on your foreign language, or if you want to also spend some time on your native language? That's up to you. You look at all of your resources that are available to you. If you have very few, you work with what you have and you just exhaust those resources, and then you try to find what you can. You have all of YouTube, all of this video, all of this site, the blog post that's down below, and comments. You can ask me questions, so you have this resource, and you do what you can with that. And then if you need more resources, of course, you can always reach out to a teacher, tutor, course, any of that. So that is a way to make your language learning easier, because when you have your own process, it's more fun to do. So it just becomes easier because it is no longer as daunting to do. And when you have your understanding of how you learn language and your resources all set up and ready to go, it also takes away from that overwhelm of what am I doing? What am I doing with my language learning? What am I doing? And the more that you learn, the easier it becomes to learn, because you just become more educated, more skilled. You learn how to learn more easily. Everything becomes a bit easier. Alright, I hope that was helpful to you, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below, and also check out the blog that is down below as well. And I'll see you guys back here next time.